Welcome back to Homebuyer University. Today we want to talk about that last step before you own your home, and that's signing day. Signing day will come with a couple different options on how you sign, and that's what we're going to dive into.
Let's break down a couple different ways that you can sign. You're either going to be in town for your signing, or you might be out of town. But for now, let's start with if you're in town for your signing. We'll start with the most common one, and that's signing at the title and escrow company who is facilitating your current transaction. Typically, you'll just make an appointment at that local branch where you'll go, sit down in person, and sign the remainder of your documents. Let's say your schedule doesn't align with title and escrow and you're unable to make it down during their business hours. You still have the option of having a mobile notary meet you at a time and place that's convenient for your schedule. Just make sure that you let your title and escrow company know so they can schedule that notary with all the right documents for that signing. Now, Dom, what happens when you're out of town when it comes time to sign those documents?
So luckily, if you're not in town at closing, there are a couple different ways you can still sign those final documents. The first way is a mobile notary. So just like that mobile notary that can meet you locally when it works for you, there will be a mobile notary option to meet you wherever you're at. Title and escrow will set it up and that notary will come and meet you and sign all those documents. However, you might need to do this a little bit on the early side because those documents are now being mailed back and forth to wherever you're at. The second option is really more reserved if you're out of country or out of area, and that's establishing what's called a power of attorney. What you can do is you can authorize a friend or a family member to be your signing authority at closing. So they'll go and sign all those documents on your behalf. But you want to make sure this is set up with title and escrow before you take your trip or before you leave the country. You also want to make sure that you trust this friend and family member to go through and sign things for you, but also be sure to thank them. It's a lot to sign. They're going to get some hand cramps, and they're essentially doing you a favor. Lastly, there's been a shift in technology where we're seeing the advent of much more online notary services. So it's possible if you're out of town, out of area, you can still sign remotely and electronically via an online mobile notary. However, not all loan companies or loan products allow for the utilization of an online notary just yet. So I wouldn't bank on this option. Instead, it's good to check ahead of time to see what your options are for your loan and your company. Chances are it'll be a mobile notary in person or that power of attorney.